Hello and welcome to NTV Business, and you're watching NTV Icons. Today we have with us a very popular face, Mr. Jasdeep Singh, who is actually the CEO of Care Hospital.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Jasdeep, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So
Thanks.
when it comes to healthcare, sometimes it's very easy, but sometimes it's very complicated field.
Right.
How do you manage your day?
So I've just to give you a little background. I've been in hospitals for the last 23 years. In fact, I started at a grassroots level and then learned my ways because I'm not a doctor. Yeah, but over the last 23 years, what we managed to learn is that this industry is a mixed bag of emotions. You know, when you come to a hospital, there can be a happy reason, there can be a sad reason, and you know, we are in an industry where the outcomes are not guaranteed. Hospitals is a place where you come with a lot of faith. Whether it's a doctor, it's the brand. You choose a hospital on multiple parameters.
Factors.
And then you decide, and then you trust the doctor or the hospital with your life. Yeah. So over a period of time, what I figured out that a brand is known for is the outcomes and the way that it treats everybody. And we as human beings, love that special care, the affection, somebody who understands our problem. And wherever I work, these are the factors that I work on with the people on the ground and also with the clinicians who we work with. Thankfully, everywhere that I worked, and especially in care, we managed to create that impact on the population who walks through our doors. And we are very happy with the way that Care Hospitals is seen in all the markets that we are present. We are now 15 plus hospitals. We are in 6 states. In Hyderabad, we have 5 hospitals covering all sides of the city. Our first hospital was in Hyderabad, as you know.
Yeah.
Nampally was started in 97. We just celebrated 25 years. Very few brands have this kind of legacy. So for us, it stands out at Care that we've lived probably through 3 or 4 generations. And we continue to grow, not just outside but even in Hyderabad.
So I would like to congratulate you for being the top hospital in the multi-specialty category, and especially Outlook also had actually ranked you the best.
Correct.
Can you put some insight on that?
Yes, sure. In fact, it's very rewarding. We are very thankful to Outlook and also, media houses like yourself who give us that platform, the recognition, because it's all about the outcomes, as I mentioned, and our clinicians have been with us for a very long time. So for us, the legacy is what we have to live up to. What Care was seen 25 years ago, we only need to get better. So me and my team, we continuously work towards enhancing technology, towards enhancing patient care, towards enhancing outcomes by bringing in new technology, by bringing in doctors who are better trained with newer techniques, etc. So that is a continuous endeavor that we thrive on, we focus on all the time.
So when it comes to the medical care and also the clinical excellence, how do you actually do this patient satisfaction? Because there's so many hospitals in the market.
Right. So, I moved in here almost 3 years ago, in Care. And what we realized was that our patient feedback collection was dependent on some forms, which probably, can be not a real truth, so to say. So what we did, we moved to a digital feedback mechanism, a platform wherein the patient is not forced to give a feedback. It's not a solicitation that we work on. We encourage them to give us feedback, and what happens is that while the patient is still in the hospital, there is an opportunity for the team on the ground to go back to the patient and address the feedback even before the patient moves out of the hospital. And that has actually changed the game for us, because then patients are seeing us as a serious player. We are interested in their well-being, we are interested in their feedback, and as I said, that hospitals are not a place where you can control every outcome, you know. And there's a large manpower base that we work with, you know, and everybody has a different way of handling a situation, and that is where we need patients to give us feedback and help us improve, you know. So I am really grateful to our patients who've helped us improve our services by being genuine with their feedback and also giving us the opportunity to change things around for their next visit.
Since you have completed 25 years,
Yes.
so do we see some kind of special discounts for patients who have actually really required that healthcare but can't afford it?
Yeah, so I must share with you that as a healthcare provider, it is our responsibility to not just look at profitability. We encourage people to come to us for better treatment, and the message that I have to my team is that no patient should leave the hospital for financial reasons, you know. And we have given a lot of discounts, we have given concessions to people who are not affording. We are impaneled to a lot of scheme patient, patient base like Arogyashri, etc., where we are catering to all categories of patients across specialties. So a liver transplant patient, for that matter, who comes from Arogyashri is treated with the same care, with the same doctors, and probably the same outcomes, you know, because for us that patient does not, it's not categorized as an Arogyashri patient. It's a patient, needs to be treated with the same way. So for us the differentiation is not where the patient is coming from. Yeah, and our endeavor is always to give the best outcome to the patient.
So after pandemic, we have seen that there are a lot of changes in people's biological system,
Yes.
and we are even not knowing the ailments which actually they're facing.
Yeah.
So sometimes there might be a lot of challenges for your doctors.
Yeah.
How do you take that, and how do you even inform your doctors to face those challenges?
Yeah. So, in fact, very interesting point. You would have actually noticed that during COVID and the first and second wave, where the complications were quite a lot, patients started moving towards higher end hospitals, established hospitals with a lot of capability, primarily because of these unknown complications, unknown outcomes that were coming out. And what we saw is that the clinicians that we have had over a period of time, and also we keep adding, because we have a very strong credentialing process, we managed to get doctors who are extremely competent, have worked in areas, in specialties where their learnings are not just one straight line, but multifaceted, involving different specialties, etc., etc. So during COVID, we were able to establish a leadership position in the markets that we are present by delivering outcomes of very complicated cases with a very good result, you know. So after that we are seeing a big uptick in the patrons that we've created, in the whole image of the hospital chain that we run. Yeah, so that has helped, and I'm very grateful to our clinicians, our nurses, our front office staff who worked through that challenging time to deliver that kind of an outcome.
After having an achievement of 25 years, how do you upgrade and update all the facilities in care, and what are your expansion plans?
Yeah, so just to give you an example, our hospital in Banjara Hills is almost 20 plus years old. In the last 2 years, we've renovated most parts of the hospital into a very plush looking new hospital. You know, so if you walk around the Banjara Hills Hospital today, you will see upgraded rooms, upgraded OTs, upgraded ICUs, and that's primarily to keep up with the requirements and expectations of our patients, and also to attract better talent, you know, more doctors to come and join us. So our investments are primarily focused on infrastructure upgrade, technology upgrades, and also newer markets, you know. So like you asked about the expansion plans, just last year we added 4 hospitals, 2 in Indore, 2 in Aurangabad, and we are looking at some other geographies as well as we speak. And as you know, that CARE is probably the biggest national chain which is focused only on non-metro markets. So we are present in Hyderabad, we are in Visakhapatnam, Raipur, Bhubaneswar, Nagpur, Indore, and Aurangabad. And that is something that we take a lot of pride in, because these are the locations where people had to travel outside for higher treatment. And we've taken that option to them in their own city. And we are seeing the results where they are extremely attached to our hospital. They patronize it. They're attached through the doctors and the clinical talent that we've been able to attract. In fact, just to give you some insights, a lot of doctors who belong to that region were practicing outside. With the setting up of a hospital of that high standard, they've decided to come and join us. So now they are at home and practicing at a very uncompromised setup. So that's been an achievement as well for us.
And now a very simple question: what is the secret of good health?
Secret of good health, I think today we talk a lot about physical health, but I think there is an increased understanding of mental health well-being as well. And that is something which I want to stress on. That if you're happy, I think a lot of ailments get taken care of by itself. And that's what we all focus on. We talk about work environments being quite toxic, etc. Whereas I, being having grown from the grassroots to where I am today, I understand the meaning of a well-aligned team. And that's what I encourage here. There is room for mistakes. There is room for trying out new things, and appreciation is galore. People get appreciated, rewarded, and people enjoy working in an environment which is not really finger pointing. I think a lot of these factors have an impact on our employees, and when they are happy, they take care of our patients, who are then that happiness gets transferred to them, and they go out feeling much better.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Wonderful talking to you. సో చూసారు కదా, దట్ వాస్ మిస్టర్ జస్దీప్ సింగ్. ఆయన ఏమంటున్నారంటే హెల్దీగా ఉండాలంటే చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఉండాలి, చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉండాలి. కీప్ వాచింగ్ ఎన్టీవీ. Hello and welcome to NTV. Today we have with us a very popular person, Mr. Vijay Sethi. He's the Vice President of Care Hospitals. Hello sir, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you so much. Glad to be on the show.
Yeah. So firstly, congratulations for Outlook has given you this top ranking, and can you put some light on that?
Well, it's always good to receive these recognitions, and I think we, as care hospitals, who have a great legacy for almost 3 generations when it comes to especially Hyderabad, and to be recognized time and again with from different organizations, it's a good feeling. And I think this all gets attributed to the people who've been with us for a long time, our patients especially, who've been having a lot of trust and confidence in various specialties that we cater to them whenever they have the need for their healthcare needs. And it's good to have, and I think there was a great teamwork. And like I said, we continue to do better, we continue to enhance, we continue to improve our services. These are one step in a motivation that comes across to us. So that's good to be recognized.
How do you see these patient complaints and patient-centric issues in care?
So I'll tell you, about 2 years back when we took over as the new management team in care hospitals, it was very important to first understand what are the current situations happening on ground with regards to patient experience. Is a new buzzword that has come across. I mean, if you go back in 90s, it started with quality control, then customer relations, CRM, then patient experience, and I'm sure there's going to be a new variant of patient experience coming very soon across. So it was important when we took over to understand what is happening in the organization. What are patients talking about us when it comes to services, and be it clinical or be it non-clinical. And we figured out that most important thing that is required to bring in that change was mindset, the behavior of people towards patients. And we created a 3-word mantra. Repetitively: patient, patient and only patient, process, process and only process, service, service and only service. Now, these three become our vision as an organization when it comes to patient experience or patient service, which is where we, in every forum, be it a presentation, be it a discussion, we reiterate this on and off to people to imbibe this as a culture, as a behavior. Now, we've got a lot of times to amplify this into break down these three into various processes, various training needs, and then kind of make it public, advertise it, talk to people, and make sure that they become disciplined and accountable and own this whenever they are interacting with the patient at any touch point and in any unit.
So hospital is all about medical care and clinical excellence. What do you say from your side, the upgradation of this medical care?
Now, I think while there is a lot happening in terms of automation, in terms of upgradation in the clinical side, but I have to say that there is so much happening in the non-clinical side when it comes to artificial intelligence, automation, digitalization. It's a cohesive approach that every industry is going through. But there is nothing like human touch. How much ever we may want to have, like Amazon, one of the best e-commerce, in 2 clicks, we want things at our doorstep. But human touch is very important. Now, there are a lot of industries which probably suffered due to COVID and went down in terms of business and profitability. Hospital is one industry where they will always be patient, regardless of what happens around. And I think that fundamental approach is very important. And our hospitality in a continuous form is important. And hence we took the approach. You mentioned about the feedback. When we took over and we started looking what patient voice is all about, where are the grievances, where are we missing, where is the big miss when it comes to patient issues, complaints, we found that there was a disconnect in resolution. There was a disconnect in acknowledgement. So we changed the complete feedback system. We got in a passive feedback system as opposed to active, where we have no one-to-one interaction with patients. It's all via the links which goes through the SMSs or WhatsApp. And we have, within the organization, created a turnaround time for every unit is 15 minutes. And I'll be happy to report that in the first 1 year, we were able to achieve average 22 minutes response time. When I say average, obviously sometimes there are certain outliers beyond the control and things don't get resolved immediately, but overall, which is what I mentioned a little earlier, was that people in the organization have become very disciplined when it comes to patient, when it comes to service, when it comes to responsing them. So we created this turnaround time of 15 minutes to only make Care Hospital responsiveness as USP, and which is what is yielding result. And above all, we with our little trainings and town halls, focused on creating a service attitude, a service mindset. And hence, we've been able to kind of bring that. I mean, our NPS score in the month of May is the highest ever, 74, which is, I think, where these recognitions come forward and acknowledge us that, yes, you are on the right track. There's a lot to do. We continually improve in every aspect, in every touch point, in every specialty. However, but these, metrics, which is not the end of all or end of the world in terms of, saying that you've acknowledged, you've kind of accomplished. But at least it tells you that you're in the right direction. And that's exactly is the approach that we're taking in creating awareness, in creating an attitude of service and experience for patients.
You were right. You spoke about human touch. So can you put some light on how the employees and the doctors are trained to show more compassion and kindness to the patient?
Fundamentally, as an organization, our focus for the patient experience is the emotional quotient. And I think every human is driven by emotions. Now, be it at home, in personal life, or be it in professional life. And that's exactly we looked at. We said that patients come to us to buy emotions, not surgeries, not procedures. It's very simple. They can get the surgeries, they can get the procedures and buy it in every hospital. And every hospital has very similar infrastructure, very similar specialties. There are even better doctors outside care, there are better doctors elsewhere. But what is important is nurturing the emotions, creating a relationship, and understanding why are they saying or behaving when they are doing that, rather than what, which is very rational. So we're looking at more emotional quotient of patients than the rational, which is run-of-the-mill kind of approach, and are trying to understand how do they feel actually, rather than what they are saying. So I think that's the holistic approach that we're taking.
Mr. Vijay, we heard you have a very interesting profile. So can you speak about that?
Yes. Basically, I am a hotelier by DNA. I did my hotel management. And for almost 2 decades, I was in the hotels in various positions, leadership positions. Before I moved on to airlines, which was Jet Airways. And I handled about 3 to 4 portfolios in Jet Airways. And then I moved on to Thomas Cook, which was a very different, kind of a travel organization where I conceptualized service quality and, made it kind of run through that. And then the last one is the healthcare. And I think my hotels, my airlines experience is coming very handy when it comes to doing and creating a service culture and hospitality and patient experience in the hospitals.
Which was the best experience?
Well, while I'll just whisper it, in fact, I miss airlines a lot than any other department. Because the airline is a very precision-oriented job, and everything happens with time bound, and everything is very complex, and yet it brings in great amount of passenger satisfaction and various other verticals that you have within the airline. So I think airline was something that I still miss.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful talking to you.
Thank you very much. It was good to be on the show. All the best.
థ్యాంక్ యూ. సో చూసారు కదా, నర్చరింగ్ ఎమోషన్స్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్, పేషెంట్తో ఒక రిలేషన్ అనేది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అంటున్నారు విజయ్ సేఠి. కీప్ వాచింగ్ ఎన్టీవీ. హలో అండ్ వెల్కమ్ టు ఎన్టీవీ. టుడే వీ హ్యావ్ అ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ పర్సన్ విత్ అస్, ద గ్రూప్ చీఫ్ ఆఫ్ మెడికల్ సర్వీసెస్, డాక్టర్ నిఖిల్ మాథుర్. Hello sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So being a doctor and being the chief for medical services, can you put some light on the journey?
So, I've been in care hospitals for last 8+ years, in the system. I started my career as an emergency medicine doctor and later graduated into an administrative role, and now, I'm taking this role for the last, 3 years. It's a proud moment for us, to be ranked as one of the, top multi-speciality hospital across the country by the Outlook. CARE as an organization has always been known for clinical excellence. Now, when I talk about clinical excellence, it is backed by having great doctors, good support system of nurses, housekeeping, technicians, security, etc., etc. And also, an important part for us as an institute is upgrading technology to provide precision care to the patient to achieve great clinical outcomes. And it's a collaborative efforts of all that which has given us such excellent results and thus being ranked as one of the top multi-speciality hospitals in the country.
So having this long journey in the medical industry, how do you see the development in the industry?
See, medical journey, what it was 10 years back, 15 years back has changed a lot. It is developing through medical infrastructure, a lot of AI tools coming in, a lot of technology advancements are happening. And we as an organization and as a fraternity of doctors have to ensure that we also upgrade ourselves not only in technology but also in the change of treatment protocols. We as an organization do a lot of activities in form of clinical researches. We partner through big companies like Medtronic and etc., where we are collaborating with them to form clinical researches and perform clinical researches depending on the specialties and publish papers according to the Indian standards. Right now in the world, if you see it, in India also we study in US, study in Japan, study in Australia, But we as an organization do a lot of work in clinical research to ensure that we have an Indian perspective of what the research is. Now research can be of various forms. It could be diagnostic methods, it could be about treatment regimens, it could be about medications and all that. So that's how we graduate and we upscale ourselves and ensure that all our fraternity is actively involved in research as well as upgrading technology.
So, how do you see this robotics and AI in the treatments of the patients?
See, it's a proven point that robotics is going to be the future of one of the future. I'm not saying that human element can be taken out completely, but the robotic has to go hand in glove with a good human acumen, and talent. So what it does, robotics gives us precision. It reduces blood loss, the infection rates, etc., etc. And future is going to be robotics. It could be AI, it could be machine learning, where multiple pathways, multiple studies are collaborated. And when you talk to a patient, when you talk, to a computer or a system, or when you're doing a diagnostic thing like CT, you are going to have so much of data that the diagnosis is going to be accurate. The treatment protocols are going to be, given by depending on what your diagnostic results are, and all this accumulation is going to happen. Now the new thing is metaverse, which is also happening in a lot of industries, and healthcare also will be a part of that.
So, how much time will metaverse take in the development of medical care?
It's very early and nascent stages. It will take time. I cannot give it number of years or something, but it will definitely play a very important role, in medical field as well. Because through metaverse, you actually give a feeling of creating a 3D universe. So that is going to be more interactive. All people are also going to understand things better. Remote doctors can make a feel of a hospital at home. So multiple things can happen through metaverse, and this is going to be the future.
I'm sure in your medical journey, you must have seen a lot of challenges, and especially when the patient come with some complications. How do you handle those?
See, we have a multidisciplinary teams always in on the ground. It's even if it's at 2 a.m. in the night, we have senior consultants around the clock manning our departments. And what we have done is we have not made our department just person or oriented. It's more of process and protocol oriented. I'll give you a few examples. Like many of our departments in the hospitals have clinical pathways. To give an example of a clinical pathway, for example, a patient of chest pain comes into our hospital. We have certain guidelines of in how much time ECG has to be taken, a cardiologist to be called, what is how far quickly the patient, if it's an acute MI, how quick the patient is moved to a cath lab, in how much time the balloon is inflated. And just not the pathway, we also monitor it. We call it as clinical audits. So was the medications given were accurate? Was the time taken to open the vessel was within the international guidelines? And also we also ensured that we monitor our clinical outcomes on a regular basis. And whenever we feel there is a discrepancy, we do something called peer reviews. So there's an advantage of having a big network of hospitals. So when I see a particular doctor or particular case, there are some complications which are not regularly seen. We get them reviewed in a very confidential way, hiding the doctor's name, patient's name, hospital, by a similar doctor hospital of our network. So ensure that the quality of care provided is up to the mark, and if there is any lapse, the treating doctor is spoken to about these are the things he need to watch out to ensure that these things are not happening on a regular basis.
So many youngsters entering into this medical field, what do you have to tell them?
I tell them to be grounded, have good foundation, be available to the patient all the times. Don't lose your temper. There will be multiple times people asking multiple questions. One family member will be available at one time of counseling. He might not be available at the second counseling, and then there is a gap. But it's okay. It happens in life, and you have to have good temperament. Be updated if you are taking a medical field. Just don't see what is happening in your hospital, see what is happening across the country and around the world as well. So being updated, be techno savvy, because future is going to be technology. So you have to be good in technology. You should upgrade your technology skills. Like people have upgraded from various aspects in IT also. Similar way, medical field is also going. It used to be a big computer, laptops, now iPads, now smaller phones. You can do everything. In a similar way, medical technology will also graduate. So you have to be updated. These are a few things which I know the youngsters are also going to do, and they're also techno savvy these days. You have a 2-year-old kid, they know how to handle a smartphone. So I don't see a problem of youngsters, getting used to that technology in medical field if they choose to become a doctor or any other specialization in medicine.
So, what are the 3 qualities a doctor should surely have, especially in this fast world?
See, it's a very subjective thing. There are a lot of qualities which actually make you a good doctor. It is I feel one is punctuality, second is hard work, and third thing is having good temperament. So these are the 3 things which make a doctor, and availability to the patient and family. I think that is the key thing, that whether it is 9 in the morning or 3 a.m. in the night, the care should be the same irrespective of the time and place. So that's where we have focus on as an organization as well.
So, what are the different technology advancement that CARE has done, and you are involved in that?
CARE, as I told you, technology advancement is what we have to. If you have to be relevant, you have to change and upgrade your technology. And CARE as an organization always has been pro towards that. To name a few technologies, what we recently added is, one is robotics in field of urology, general surgery, surgical gastro, gynecology and obstetrics, and surgical onco. So this is one thing what we've added. Then we've added something called an OCT. Like OCT is something like what you do. They do it in cardiac procedure. It's like doing a CT scan of your vessel and seeing coronary vessels or something, and seeing what the size of the block is, the artery lumen, and etc., so that the stent or the balloon, whatever you're providing, is precise. And other things is like we have something called neuro navigation system, DBS, which is used for Parkinsonism, where the hands and all shake. There's a way to treat all those things. So there are a lot of advancements we've done. We added an ortho robo, which is one of the latest and one of its kind in the country. So that has been added in 3 of our hospitals across the group. These are few to mention, but there are a lot many things what we've done, which I would take a whole day to talk about.
So, finally, what is the mantra for healthy living?
Healthy living is now people should concentrate on preventive things rather than getting into a disease. And I think this is coming into limelight very well after actually the COVID. So, COVID also, though it has many minuses, it has given a lot of pluses in way of concentrating on clinical prevention of clinical diseases and all, being healthy, eat healthy, live healthy, exercise regularly. These are 2 or 3 things we need to do, and concentrate more on preventing health checkups. Do it regularly. You have a lot of packages for youngsters, for elderly, for diabetics, for somebody in having a renal disease and all. So having a regular health checkups, and to ensure that you are not missing out anything, and ensuring that you reach the right place and call it at doctors at the right time is one of the most important.
I'm sure you have some couple of rare procedures at CARE.
Yeah, we do a lot of precision and rare things, complicated stuff. What comes to us as being a quaternary care center, it's very difficult to tell you top 3, but I can just tell you not in order, but 2 or 3 rare procedures what we have done as an organization. There's a procedure called orbital atherectomy. It's a spinning tool to remove plaque from the clogged coronary arteries. That is one procedure what our cardiologists at Care Banjara have done, which is one of its kind, and probably, I think, if I'm not wrong, one of the first in South India. And second thing, if I have to mention, there's something called as a urolift. It is it's a non-surgical treatment for treating prostate problems. And one more to answer is an impella. Impella is a device to assist your ventricular function. Your heart has a ventricular. When it fails, the ventricular function depletes. So impella is a device which ensures there is support to your ventricular system, and thus it gives you time to improve your ventricular function, and then go for further treatment once it improves. Yeah. So these are few to name. There are many to talk about.
So, many people, patients, come to doctors for a lot of advices. So you as a doctor, whose advice you take the most?
So I, as a doctor, see, for us in care, I actually spoke about it. We have a multidisciplinary team approach. Even to give you an example, a patient with cancer comes, there is a group of oncologists, medical, surgical, radiation, hemato-oncologists. They sit across a table, discuss about a case, have a multidisciplinary team meetings, prepare a chart of treatment, best treatment what a patient needs, discusses with that family as a team, and then jots the treatment initiates after all this things happen. So for me also, whenever I need somebody at the hospital, it's a multidisciplinary team, and I'm not going to take names on that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful talking to you.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you.
సో చూశారు కదా, ఒక బెస్ట్ డాక్టర్ అవ్వాలంటే హార్డ్ వర్క్ కావాలి, పేషెన్స్ కావాలి, కమిట్మెంట్ కావాలి. అదే అన్నారు డాక్టర్ నిఖిల్. కీప్ వాచింగ్ ఎన్టీవీ. Hello and welcome to NTV. Today we have with us Mr. Nilesh Gupta, the HCO of Banjara Hills branch, Care Hospitals. Hello sir, how are you doing?
Hello, madam. Thank you.
Yeah, so
I'm
Care
doing well.
Hospital, the most busiest hospital in Banjara Hills. Tell me your role in that.
So, as the hospital chief operating officer, my job is to ensure that we deliver the service to our patients at the highest standard which we have set up in our group, and ensure that day-to-day operations are taken care. Doctors are happy, staffs are happy, and ultimately we ensure that our patients get what they come to our hospital for, and they go happy.
So Banjara Hills has many facilities and every day thousands of patients are there. So how does these run smoothly?
So, 2-3 things are there. One is, you are absolutely right. I mean, we see more than 200,000 patients in OPD every year. We do more than 4,000 cardiac interventions, 1,500 cardiothoracic surgeries, and more than 8,000 non-cardiac surgeries. So the patient footfall is very, very high. But what we have done is we have implemented standard operating protocols. We have very clear guidelines on how we do what we do, and we deliver the highest standards of care to our patients through those standard operating protocols. We also have technology. So, we have if you talk about medical equipment, we got surgical robot, dual slice, 128 slice, CT scan. And at the same time, we use technology very, very heavily. So, for example, we have got integrated hospital information system. We have got a ERP solution. We have got PACS. We have got lab information system. We also have got a cloud-based, real-time tracking system to ensure that whenever a patient gives a feedback, we act on it immediately. We ensure that the process failures are documented and we act on it. We close the loops so that every time when patient comes, the augmented service delivery is better and better for them.
So Banjara Hills branch is the top ranked multi-speciality hospital. Firstly, congratulations for winning that award. How does it feel when patients come to you and different doctors come to you and congratulate you?
Thank you so much. Yes, it is a moment of pride. We are really privileged and honored to have this. And we are just not first in Hyderabad. We are also ranked as 4th best in South India and 13th best in all India. And it is in addition to the Outlook Health awards, we also have been ranked in the world's best hospital list by Newsweek. So we keep getting this external validation of our clinical excellence. See, what happens is every hospital talks that they are the best, but when somebody externally comes, evaluates you, goes into the market. So for example, Outlook Health have spoken to more than 2,000 respondents in 10 cities. So when you get externally validated that yes, what you are preaching, you are actually delivering to patient, it is a really, really good experience, and we are really humbled with that. And we thank Outlook Health and Newsweek for ranking us in the world's best hospital and best hospital in India series.
So what are the different measures you take for patient excellence and all the clinical theories and procedures that are done there?
So there are 2-3 things. One is, there are national standards for hospital in India like NABH, National Accreditation Board for Hospital, and NABL. This is for lab services. Now we have been accredited, meaning they come every 3 years and they literally go through more than 600 standards and parameters. They check your hospital. The surveyors are there in your hospital for 3 days. So we have been accredited by them for last more than a decade now. And what happens is we strictly adhere to these standards and international standard like international patient safety goals, international infection control guidelines. So ultimately, the aim is that we have a mission, to provide the best quality of healthcare at optimal cost. And we can do this only when we adhere to these international guidelines and ensure that, we train our staff, we select right staff, train them, do continuous. For example, patient safety. Now, you have heard so much about the fire incidents. Now, what we do is we prepare in advance for all these emergencies. So, for example, you have a medical emergencies, we have a code for it. We call this code blue. So, we train our staff, we do mock drills that how will you react when there is a medical emergency or how will you do the extinguish or how you will take care of the fire. So, if there is a fire, so each of our staff has been trained first what need to be done, how to raise an alarm, how to use the fire extinguisher. So we do this code mock drills. So we do the mock drills for cardiac emergencies, medical emergencies, fire. If there is an external disaster, suddenly you get 30, 40 patients in UR. How are you going to react? See, there might be a big casualty, and suddenly, we recently have this accident, very unfortunate. Now, for hospital, it also becomes I would say, a responsibility for society that you are actually prepared. So suddenly, if you get 30, 40 very sick patient in your emergency, how are you going to, address that need of the hour? So we are actually doing these mock drills, and we are prepared in advance that at the time of emergency, who should do what. So that is a focus. Same time, we continuously do audits of our processes. We do continuous audit of patient feedback. And also we have an automated system to track our statutory compliances. So that we adhere to standards, we at the same time also keep doing the audits to ensure that we augment the service delivery so that when the patient comes next time, he gets a better experience.
So, Banjara Hills branch being the most trusted in care hospitals, if the patients are coming in the midnight, so doctor availability and the approach towards the patient, how is it?
It's a good question because at Banjara we are actually doing a quaternary care. So you have primary healthcare, secondary healthcare, tertiary healthcare. But quaternary healthcare means when you do transplants. So we do liver transplants, heart transplants, kidney transplants, bone marrow transplant. I mean, when you do a very, very high level of care, you need to have highly qualified doctors available 24/7. So we have rotation, by which our doctors are available in night. We have, registrars and residents who are available. We also have a very highly, integrated teaching program. So we have more than 120 students in DNB, MEM, or IDCCM. So what happens is throughout the 24 hours, we always have qualified doctors available for care of patients.
So, there are many other hospitals in Banjara Hills. How do you see care as a competition with them?
I think what we believe is we set our own standard and we want to, overachieve on those standards. And, these external validations where we get these awards are basically testimonials of, that we are trying to improve ourselves better and better. We also ensure that we are apt with the, latest technology available, latest guidelines which are happening. So, for example, last year we got the surgical robot. Now, nowadays, robotic surgery is, very much, required for a very precision care surgeries. So we have got that. So we have always at the forefront of technology, forefront of service delivery. And for us, our own standards are at a very high level, and we want to breach that.
How do you select experienced doctors for robotic surgery?
So the robotic surgery is an advanced level. So those doctors who are already trained, they have a lot of experience doing the laparoscopic surgeries. They get trained on the simulator. They get trained in wet lab of the company which is providing the robot, and then they also get a proctorship. So somebody coming from United States or Europe who hands holds them when they get trained. And good thing is because we got so experienced doctors, they just pick up things very fast. And now, I mean, in just about 6 months, we have done more than 70 robotic surgeries, and the outcomes are really good.
Yeah. What's the personal care taken for the patients and the feedback that comes from them? So, do you again go back to the patients and find out their requirement or what services further they require?
So what we do is we have a very active program where we actually track feedback from most of our patient, not when they are during, when they are in the hospital, but also when they have got discharged. So 24 hours post discharge, we actually send them a link and ask them a very exhaustive questionnaire asking about our services. We also follow what is called as net promoter score, and we judge our services through what feedback we get, and we then do a root cause analysis and act on it. Not only that, we also have something called as Care Connect program. Now, Care Connect program, every quarter, we actually call some of our patients who got treated. For example, very recently, last month, we did a Care Connect program for a transplant patient. Now, we had more than 10 transplant patients. So, 2-3 of them were liver transplant patients, 2-3 of them were heart transplant patients, kidney transplant patient, bone marrow transplant. And then we asked, what changes have come in their life, how are they feeling, how was the care and all that, and they were very, very happy. In fact, it actually was very good session, because we actually had invited some of the patients who are prospective transplant, and they are not sure whether they should do it because they're scared, it is little complicated procedure, and they were very motivated to hear. So we had patients who has undergone a transplant of heart, and he plays cricket, uh, you know and that was his hobby. So we have very good success stories where patients are really happy with the way they have received the care, and also they have been treated very well at our hospital.
Thank you so much, sir. Amazing talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Hello and welcome to NTV. Today we have with us a very popular person, Mr. Suneet Agarwal, the HCOO of Care Hospitals, High Tech City. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me over here. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Sir, 23 years of medical industry. Wow, what a journey it is. So, can you put some light on your journey?
Yeah, it has been quite a journey so far. It seems to me like 23 years, but it just yesterday only when I started my career. I can still recall I was a fresh graduate, MBA pass out from Four School of Management, Delhi, and just 23 years of age. At that time, Fortis, in fact, the Renbexi came to the campus, and they said they're coming up with a new entity called Fortis Healthcare, and setting up a private corporate hospital in Mohali. So nobody was at that point of time, I'm talking year 2000. So this concept of corporate hospital was non-existence at the point of time. It was more of a government hospitals, and only private hospital that was existence was in a Scots Heart Institute, which was there in Oakland. So I never wanted to be in healthcare industry per se. By qualification, I'm in economics honors and MBA finance. But Renbexi came to the campus, and I was interviewed by none other than the ex-promoter of Renbexi, Shwendra Mohan Singh. And the vision he shared about the Indian healthcare industry going ahead, and that's prompted me to be part of the Fortis team. So I was part of the Fortis founding team. So I joined as a management trainee way back in 2000. So in 2001, we launched Fortis as the first hospital at Mohali. So being very young, just 23 years of age, you looking forward to this kind of corporate assignment from the MBA assignments, and things went very fine. And then I moved to, after spending time with Fortis, I moved to financial services. I spent time with HDFC, Kotak, primarily into the investment banking team. I've been investment banker advising a lot of healthcare clients on the business strategy, fundraising, structuring, and so many things. And then since after spending good time in financial services, since 2010, basically I'm from Chandigarh. So I moved back to Chandigarh, and I joined there's a company called Ivy Group of Hospitals. So there my stint as a hardcore healthcare started. So since 2010 and now 2013, so out of my 23 years of career, last 13 years have been into hardcore managing the healthcare, and healthcare has quite evolved since 2010 to now what I see right now at 2023. So this has been a journey, and it's been very interesting and very good.
When we think of Hyderabad, high-tech city comes to mind, and care at high-tech city. I'm sure the patients there will have special services, and those services which are not there in any other hospital. Can you put some light on that?
See, we are healthcare. If you bifurcate healthcare into primary care, secondary care, and tertiary care. If I talk very simple, so Care High Tech or Care as a group, we are a tertiary care center. Whenever you are in any kind of medical emergency, which require special attention, a tertiary care hospital comes to your mind. For example, somebody met with an accident, a road accident, very severe one. Somebody is having a MI, the cardiac arrest or something. Somebody is having a brain stroke. All these complex things when comes to patient's mind and they rush to our emergency. The first thing is our emergency is very well equipped, right? Emergency is the heart of any hospital, so if we can handle the patient in that hour of need, then you are done. So I can proudly say that at Care High Tech we have one of the best ER or emergency services which will take care of our patient in the dire need of the health.
What are the special initiatives that are taken by high-tech city care to give better facilities to the patients?
Actually, there are a number of things, See, in terms of facility, if you talk about what a patient actually looks into when he walks into the hospital, he says that I should be well taken care of and I should go home back hale and healthy. So this is what the outcome a patient expect, and we as an healthcare administrator or healthcare provider ensures that our patient go home healthy and hale. So this is the end result.
At Care High-Tech City, what are the different facilities that you provide for the patient?
Okay, so if you look into, as I discussed, Care High Tech is a tertiary care center, right? So we have on the clinical side more than hundreds doctors working with us, and we have all the super specialty under one roof. You talk about the oncology care, which is the cancer care. You talk about cardiac, the orthopedics, the kidney transplant, your plastic surgery, you name it, we have all the super specialty department under one roof. Now, so this helps a patient a lot when you have all these super specialties working under one roof and giving a very holistic care to my patients, For example, somebody as simple as a lady is coming for a delivery in the hospital, obstetrics is a very simple branch, but what if this delivery becomes complex, You require complete support from the blood bank and the other surgical team to handle your patient well. So there we are. The whole team is there to support any kind of emergency which is during any procedure. For example, during any surgical intervention, if some complexity comes, so you have a support coming directly from even the oncosurgeons who can be immediately on the call, can come and attend to the patient. So this way patient get the complete holistic tertiary care or the quaternary care in our unit high tech is very different from somebody who's walking into your ER and he's rushing with one of his relative who is undergone a stroke or undergone cardiac arrest, At that time, he is very, very aggressive, the patient attendant, and he's very restless also. So at that time, somebody who is, handling that patient or the patient attendant need to have that compassionate angle also. Sometimes, yes, the patient is aggressive, the patient attendant is aggressive, but you as a healthcare service provider need to keep yourself very calm. You need to keep that compassionate and sometimes non-emotional approach, like I always ask my doctors that how you keep yourself very very emotionally balanced. Somebody's coming with a heart attack, or somebody's coming with a disease which is end stage, and that this person will not make out, but still as a doctor you keep your emotions very very intact and just focus on doing your clinical practice. So point I'm bringing home is in healthcare industry, it is a people industry, and it is like you need to put yourself a lot. You have to put a lot of things ahead. Just a job, you must have experienced this since during COVID time. When none of the patients attendant was going close to a COVID patient, but the healthcare service provider, whether nursing or paramedics, and doctors, they were going ahead and treating those patients without realizing that they also can get affected from this disease. So this calls for a different mindset and different compassion to deliver healthcare to the patients. So this is all we practice in high tech. We ensure that our employees are well taken care of, so that they can extend similar kind of good services to our patients also.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This was all about 25 years of Care Hospital. చూసారు కదా, ఒక పేషెంట్కి డాక్టర్ ఎంత ఇంపార్టెంటో అంతే ఒక డాక్టర్ కూడా పేషెంట్ అంతే ఇంపార్టెంట్. కీప్ వాచింగ్ NTV.